Hey guys, what's up? This is Gavin from Gavin's Guitar Tips. Today we're going to be talking about how to practice a song. So this is for, you've already learned the parts of the song. You can probably play it-ish all the way through, or at least you know mentally what all the parts are. And now this is the process for how do we get that performance of the song to be the best it can be. And we're going to be really strict about analyzing where our weak points are so that we know what to practice to give the best performance of the song. And this is what I recommend you do. I recommend you film yourself playing the song, record yourself into the computer playing the song, and be so clear in your performance. What did I do well? What were my weak points? Write down all the weak points, build a little practice regime out of that, and instead of the next time you're going to practice to play the song, instead of just playing it 6 times in a row, do 25 minutes of practicing your weaknesses, very isolated, to a metronome, focused, whatever, and then go play the song once at the end of your practice. Because you'll probably find that that is much better than just going through the whole thing. This is going to be played to a drum track only. You can do this with any song now. There's really no reason that you can't. You can throw the song you're working with into one of these AI tools. I use revocalize.ai, I believe, to split the stems into drums, bass, vocals, and guitar. And then you can play along just to the drum track. And the reason that you might want to do that, or just play along to everything except for the guitars, is that when we play along to the studio version of the track, it kind of gives us a false sense of how good we actually are, because we're hearing the perfectly recorded takes. They probably strung them together section by section, and we're hearing it just as loud as our playing. And so it kind of, anytime we fumble a little bit, that part of it kind of course corrects, or we hear that more. It's kind of like if you have weaker vision in one eye, the stronger vision eye tends to take over. And so we're going to want to be really clear about how we're playing. And that's why I'm going to play along to just the drum track, so you can only hear my guitar playing, so I really know for sure where are my weak points. Hopefully you will find this beneficial, and then I'll have a little fun spoilery announcement stuff at the end. You can skip past the performance take if you want, but I would suggest watch this with me as I play it and think about, notice, where am I having weak points, right? Because I'm going to point out some things afterwards that I notice, and maybe you'll see if you caught what I did or if you caught other things I didn't catch. Let's give it a try. This song's called Rate Again by Gulnarius, great power metal band. Me and my student Derek love this band. He asked if we could learn this song. I learned the song by ear for him. Haven't played it much in the last couple months. I played it a couple times this morning just to make sure I could remember it, and haven't properly practiced for it now, but I'm going to try my best, and then talk about what I should do to best practice for it based on where I'm at now. Because this is like a real situation that we're all in with different songs. We don't have them all perfect right now. So here we go. Yikes. here's the notes that I took. So intro rhythm was bad. This is one of those things where it was just because I was kind of getting into the track and hadn't been playing, and took a sec to kind of feel comfortable and lock in. So this is an example of a mistake that we forgive. So in your performance, there's going to be mistakes that are just like, oh, I fucked up. I forgot where I was. I kind of fingered the chord bad. There was a few moments like that too, where the power chord or the third shape I was doing didn't quite sit right, and my hand didn't feel right, and probably didn't sound the best. And I'm just not going to make a note of that, because unless it's a major issue, if it's just happening here and there, 1 in 30 times or something like this, unfortunately, that's just something we're going to have to live with and hope continues to get better as our guitar playing gets better. But we're going to focus on the things that were more obviously a big issue. So we forgive the things that sometimes we're not paying attention. We don't play perfect. We're human. We don't play perfect. And this goes with the second note too. I said my general picking hand rhythm is not consistent. There's some times where I rush. There's some times where I dragged, or I don't quite lock in with the drums. And I felt it too. Like, my picking hand is my weakness. I love my fretting hand. Picking hand, love-hate relationship with. Always, always, always band-aiding my picking hand. So especially on that like low E stuff, I don't always feel the most comfortable. But then here's the first sort of really concrete one, is transitions out of pentatonic pull-offs are bad. And to be fair, those pentatonic pull-offs are fast and difficult. I don't even feel like I totally nailed them cleanly. So what I would do, I'll put this as practice item 1. I will say practice pull-offs, pull-off licks with transitions into next section. So the transition in the next section thing is so important, because so often the thing that is difficult or that we screw up is the getting from one place to the next. That's what makes these things hard. It's like challenge here into another place. It makes it kind of double challenge. So I'm going to put the metronome on, and instead of just going instead of just playing that, I'm going to think about transitioning, like, okay, that lick transitions there first, and then it also transitions up to this lead bit. So what I'm going to do is literally practice each one of the numerous transitions that there are. And that's what I'm going to do in this practice item 1. Because it's something like... Doesn't feel the best. And I would love to spend 5 minutes on that. And I would next time I practice this. So I'm putting that as number 1. I would love to spend 5 minutes on those licks and the transitions. The next thing we're going to look at is the return of the double picking intro lick didn't feel great. Every time, so I'll say returning to intro double pick. Every time after the intro that you come back to this, I scuff the first da-da. So I believe, oh shoot, there's one at the end of the first chorus. So just practice that, just. There's also one later on, I think at the end of the solo, where it's a... So I just work on that. Because it seems easy now, but when I'm in the song, I'm thinking about so many things. That is a weak point that didn't sound so good. Next thing we're going to say, transition into the solo felt lucky. This is an important thing too. You might have been watching certain parts and go, oh, he played that fine. But how did I feel? Sometimes you know when you nail a part, and you know when you go, whew, fuck, that went okay. You know what I mean? We don't want that. We want everything to feel as good as it can. So when I say transition into the solo felt lucky, again, that double picking thing, had to go straight up there. Even playing it now, not fun. So what I would do is just spend 5 minutes just on that. I'll say transition into solo. And again, that doesn't even necessarily have to be with a metronome. It could just be sort of really visualizing, seeing I have to go from... Ooh. 5 minutes with that could do a lot of magic. You're just seeing 15 seconds here. 5 minutes, delicious. into this next section. Bend at the end of the legato of the solo didn't transition well. So most of the solo, the first bit of it feels pretty good for me, but then after this bit, it's hard for me too just to like feel that bit. See there, I just scuffed it. To feel that with the drums as well as tough. So that's just something that I would just love to work on that lick for like 5 minutes, because it doesn't feel great. I'm playing it, I know I'm gonna mess it up sometimes, so I'm gonna practice it on purpose. So I will say transition. I'll just say end of legato bit in solo, and then we will notice this note was about in the sort of slow melodic section. I think during the pre-chorus towards the end of the song, there's a that I basically did. I just sort of scuffed and forgot what was going on. So I just want to make a note of that. Maybe that won't make it into my like heavy practice rotation for the song, because it just felt like a mistake that I could have done better. I just didn't really have it fresh in my mind. But what I would still do is just play that lick as I need it, you know, for a minute or a couple minutes before I would ever then attempt to do the song again. Just so I've played it right a lot of times. Even if it's an easy one, hey, I messed it up in the song. So let's get it better in the future. Same thing here with this forget the triplet palm mute bit. Towards the end of the song, it does this. And I forgot going into that. So what I would do is just practice going into that over and over for like a minute or two. It doesn't have to be something I practice every single time. Clearly it was a mistake that just happened once, but there was an indication there was a problem. Let me go band-aid that. Takes a few minutes. Let me be purposeful about that rather than risking now the next time that could happen again. Now here, these two were really important. The last lick, clearly needs work, you know? And that was probably the biggest blunder of the song, is that last lick. I always remember that last lick being a little tricky. Haven't played it in a while, and it's just not flowing at all. So what this could mean too is this one might even want to be like 10 minutes long. I might want to practice that like twice as much, like if all these other items are 5 minutes long. But just whatever we have to do, knowing that's like kind of the number one weakness in my performance, I should give that probably the most of my attention in my practicing of this song. And one more note too that we could say, maybe to round this out, where you can always kind of distribute this in some way. You can make this all add up to half an hour or to an hour, was that last bend is tough, right? And I sort of blundered that a bit. Still tough, fucking hell, man. Doing that for 5 minutes, I think would definitely help me feel more prepared to tackle it when it comes on in the song. So there I go. I have now a list of something that could, I could spend a half an hour on this. I could spend an hour on this. And if I'm sure if I really give attention to these things, the next performance of the song will be certainly better and more prepared for. And I hope you just get the sense of this is how you could apply it to your own practice and how you can work on getting your own song better. 2 things are going to be happening very soon. One, I'm going to be releasing a guitar course just for basic theory. It's one of those things I go over so many times with new students, basically covering diatonic scale, pentatonic scale, triads, all the essential theory stuff, so that if I'm doing kind of more advanced content, you can just do that course. Maybe you can't afford a lesson, you can do that course, know what's going on, and I think it will help you a lot with everything. I've never been huge on the idea of a course, but I feel like this would be a good necessity, and I think a lot of people would benefit from it. Next thing, 2 Fridays from now, the last Friday of this month, I will be releasing an EP. And the exciting news is that it is not just going to be on that last Friday. I'm going to be releasing another EP the next Friday. And the next Friday for 6 weeks. I'm going to be releasing 6 EPs. And I'm going to make another video talking about this. Why am I releasing 6 EPs? They're of different styles. The oldest EP was something I did most of the work for and started in 2016. A lot of them are more recent in the last 2 or 3 years. Basically, I have a problem finishing things and sharing them with the world and being perfectionistic. And that time has finally kind of reached a close where all these projects have been pretty much done. The last few months I've been working very hard to finish those obsessive details about it. Maybe at least one of them is for you, because they all are in different styles. They all have different kinds of vocals or different guitars or different tones, and they're all so different. I'm really excited to share them all with you, so you can look forward to that. Have a great weekend.